Welcome back to SoulBack. This is the R&B podcast. Kyle here with Tom and Ed. Happy New Year to everyone. What's going on, guys?
Happy New Year, players. I am chilling. I'm actually literally chilling because it's pretty cold today. What's up with you, Tom? You got your new edition on the way. I'm not talking about Robbie, Bobby, Ricky, or Mike.
Oh, it's my turn to speak. I was just reading the biography of B5. Let me put this book down for a minute.
What?
How many pages is his biography?
Come on, let's be fair. They were huge. They couldn't even walk the streets without getting mobbed back in the early 2000s.
They couldn't walk the streets without getting mobbed. They couldn't walk the streets.
So, guys, quick question for you. Being that it is the new year, what's your R&B New Year resolution for this year?
Ooh.
Personally or for R&B artists? Because that's different.
No, for you as a consumer. Because, I know Tom, he started out his new year with listening to Tyrese's discography, and now it's his favorite artist. So, Ed, anything for you?
Oh my God. I think there was a little bit of embellishment there on the second half of that combo. But anyway, for me, what I want to do is listen to a little bit more international artists because, man, it's some heat across seas. And we hear a lot about the UK artists, and we feature a lot of them over the sites over the past 12 months or so. But there's a lot of talent, and unfortunately, while the stateside artists over here trapping and want to be fake rappers, there's some R&B artists over there flourishing in some of these other countries. I want to check them out. So I think I'll be keeping a closer ear on that. And when you hear more reviews and podcasts about people you have never heard about but we're co-signing, you better check them out.
My resolution is to show more appreciation to those artists who are underappreciated, like the aforementioned B5s of the world.
Oh.
That's a joke. Actually, I would love, I don't think I can do this, but I would love to call out some of our favorite artists when they release crappy music. Like if it's 2019 and you were hot in the 90s and now you release a project and it's whack, I would love to say, listen, you didn't come with your best stuff on this project. And even though we support you, you got to step it up. I don't think we can say that, though, unfortunately. Because they'll get...
Well, I can if you can't.
Well, guys, someone just joined the room. It's our boy David Duane. I know we just started. We forgot to introduce him. So, Duane, what is going on?
Nothing much. How are y'all?
What's up, David?
Tom, Ed. Who's going to Playa Please this week?
Let me give this guy a proper introduction. So our guest for the week, a friend of You Know I Got Soul, a friend of Kyle and I for years now. He is a singer, songwriter, radio host, personality, publicist. The list goes on and on. Former president of the Day 26 fan club. We have David Duane with us.
Oh man, that was a good intro. That was funny with the former president of Day 26.
Was that true though?
Ah man, what you know what the honesty of that is, and Tom and Kyle, I'll be completely honest with y'all about that. I was literally running everything as just handling publicity and marketing, and I had to step in other ways because there was lack of people that were a part of the team. So, sometimes you have to rise to the occasion, and when you're good at more than one thing, you just can't be like, oh, well, god dang, let me sit back and just be the timid one. So
wait, hold on, David. We got to keep it real. I'm talking like 2008, 2009.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, you know what? I started doing publicity with them during the Return EP, so that was 2014. And I stopped. Actually, I was low-key, high-key still doing some stuff this fall, but nobody knew about it. So you guys are getting a whole exclusive on that. But yeah, that was a wild experience. Solo artists are better for R&B. Always.
All right. So, David, before you hopped on, we were just talking about our New Year resolutions for R&B. Tom wants to appreciate the underrated artists more. And Ed, what was your resolution again?
Oh my goodness! Thanks for paying attention, Kyle. It was to shout out some more of the international artists who are doing big things and giving them a platform.
There you go. So, Duane, what's your New Year resolution for 2019 when it comes to R&B and where it's at right now?
Honestly, I would say for R&B right now, it would be the same thing that you said. Supporting, the up and coming talent. There's a lot of new R&B artists that people don't either they know about or there's just not a love to it. Especially for me having a publicity and marketing business. I'm always eyed to like R&B, even though I should always venture out. But it's something about R&B, fresh new talent from like the ages of 19 to like mid 20s before it gets too old, or even 30s and stuff like that. It's something about that new talent that is just like intriguing to me. So definitely the same thing you said though.
Cool.
Because they need support
guys,
too.
Yep, for sure. Well, I'm gonna say that my New Year resolution, Tom and Ed, you guys will be very excited about it. I'm gonna try listening to Anthony Hamilton this year.
Oh my god.
That. Well, listen, I applaud the growth. You can't be listening to Ashanti forever.
Listen, I'm turning 20. I'm turning 29. It's time to get into adult contemporary music.
Oh my god, adult contemporary.
You got to be careful
get your
with
Urban
those
AC
first.
on with us.
You got to be careful with his first couple albums, man. You might start feeling a little down, a little depressed. He makes great music, but it's for a definite mood, I'd say.
Ooh, that first album will put you in a psychiatrist's chair.
All right, guys. Dave, I'll let you start off this conversation. We're talking about 2019. We talked about the resolutions already. What are some albums or artists that you're looking forward to, that might be releasing an album in 2019, or an artist that you hope releases music in 2019? Let's go with that.
Honestly, let me start with artists who I'm looking forward to dropping projects. Definitely, all of our girl Elle Varner. It looks like she's coming out with a new project after a long-waited hiatus of dealing with the label and the politics with that. So I'm looking forward to her project because to me she's always been, I don't want to say underrated because I feel like Bridget Kelly kind of called me out with the underrated kind of thing, but underexposed. So I want to use that word to properly say that. So looking forward to her project. Also looking forward to H.E.R's debut album because I feel like the prelude really wasn't what we all were expected, and I know you guys definitely touched on that in the previous episodes. So I'm looking forward to see what this debut album actually is because this new prelude, the second one was kind of better than the first one, so it kind of threw us for a loop. Maurice Moore, actually somebody who I'm working with R&B wise, is getting ready to drop a project. So I'm looking forward to his project and his growth, because he's an R&B artist that's young, that all eyes should be on. Damn, who else? I guess they say we're getting Brandy's album too, right? This year, allegedly.
Yeah.
Allegedly, that's the word.
Keywords allegedly. I mean, we love Brandy, but I mean, it's been how long are we going to wait? When are we going to get it?
Yeah.
So I would say Brandy too. Hopefully we get it.
Dave, it's interesting. You brought up Elle Varner. Tom, we've been waiting on an Elle Varner album since, what is it, like 2011 now? 2012?
Yeah. It's been an interesting situation. Shout out to Elle Varner. She's one of Ed's favorites, and she's also a friend of I Got Soul, and we've always supported her. And Ed, calm down. It's too early. Man, I love the music she made with Oak and Pop, and I hope she continues that. I don't know. It's just been a weird journey. Like, I'm surprised she didn't self-release anything in the time between when she left the label and now she's with E1. I almost am scared to see if people are still waiting and how they're going to get her name out there again. It'll be interesting. I mean, the first single was kind of a little more poppy, I think, than we were expecting. So
Yeah.
we'll have to see what's next. I mean, that single, I don't even think they went to radio with it, so I'm just going to have to wait and see.
So, Ed, let's talk about Elle Varner, me and you. She's going on tour with Marsha. Will you be attending this tour? Because she looks good. We can give her that, right?
Oh, could you?
I mean-
Oh, my goodness.
Player, listen, you're talking to Ashanti's biggest fan, so when it comes to that, sometimes with Kyle, that's all he needs to go to. I know everybody's looking forward to this Elle Varner thing. It's like me saying I'm looking forward to going to the dentist in 2019. So y'all have fun with that one.
Oh,
It's all good. I have other artists I'm looking forward to on my docket.
Can I give you the ones I'm looking forward to?
Yep.
100% a new Joe album. I don't know if it's going to happen or not.
Dude, he retired. Let it go.
He didn't
Really
retire.
He retired, Tom.
Oh,
We have-
please.
We haven't had a Carl Thomas album since 2011. It's been 8 years. I'm curious to hear a new Next album. I know they've been working on one, waiting for the right situation. We have not had a Chico DeBarge album in a decade, so I'd like to hear that. John B, of course, and your boy Ginuwine, Kyle. Is that ever going to come out?
Maybe when Donnell Jones' album comes out.
Who's Darnell? Oh, Darnell.
Darnell.
You got to put the southern accent on it.
Here we go with this again. And you were telling me to calm down earlier.
But yeah, Tom, it's interesting because every artist you just named hasn't put out an album in years. Why do you think that is, Ed? Why are they so afraid to put out an album? Or is there just no point to doing so?
I wouldn't say afraid. I mean, I think that the better point that you made is like, what's the point? Some of these artists are making okay livings, touring occasionally, and a lot of times maybe feel like the actual sound and genre is passing them by. Why kind of spend all this time creating a new project in a marketplace that might not be acceptable to it? Now, there are fans like us who will probably support them regardless, but it's kind of hard for established artists who are used to packed, sold out shows, knowing that the only way they can get on radio or kind of feel crowds is to start auto-tuning and start trapping and doing things that are outside of their comfort zone. So I think some artists are just kind of like, I had my run. If I do it, it'll be fun, but they just maybe aren't motivated to hop into the game right now.
Well, can I just add something? If you look at an artist like a John B, who shamefully some people think has not put out an album since Cool Relax, I believe. I can't believe that people are that naive, but
Oh, they are.
he's doing shows every single weekend. He could tour for a living, and I think he gets it that if he puts out a project, it's going to cost him a lot of money, a lot of time and energy, and it might not reach the people he expects it to reach. So there's not really a large benefit from doing so. He's going to get booked for shows regardless. So it's like he's just going to carry on with what he's doing.
Yeah. Well, Dave, let me ask you this. Just as we're talking about artists that are putting out music in 2019, obviously there are some artists that you listened to back in the day that might still be putting out music. And of course, we're different. We're music fans, so we'll follow their whole career. But let's say, for example, somebody, I'm just going to throw out a name, no disrespect to them, but someone like Brooke Valentine, who I'm sure you listened to their album in like 2005. You're obviously not following her career as closely now. Why do you think it is for most people that it just kind of like that interest wavers off and they don't even bother with the artist's new music and they just go back to whatever they put out in 2005?
You know what the problem is with the music nowadays? It sonically has changed in a perspective where everybody is not singing anymore. Everybody is auto-tuning to the highest capacity and reverbing like shit. So, and they're changing their sound. Like Mariah Carey and Usher are prime examples of artists who are absolutely legends. But there was a little period after Confessions and Emancipation of Mimi where we all stopped giving a damn. And I think right now, even with Usher's current music, like that EP with Zaytoven, he's got like a few ones that could pass, but it's like, why are we even attempting to go for something that is not you and is being forced? And that's what a lot of R&B artists that have been out for a while are doing, forcing themselves to sounds that just aren't them. You can't be like, you can be diverse, but the problem is you're forcing something that's just not organically you.
And see,
I think a good example
earlier.
Mm-hmm. And The Dream is a good example of an artist that, of course, everybody has a love-hate when it comes to his artistry, but he's an artist that challenges different sounds and either can sound good with it or he can sound absolutely horrible with it.
So, Ed, as we're talking about autotune, just like Dave brought up, what are you looking forward to in 2019? Are you looking forward to another A.Marie autotune album?
Oh my gosh. If you would have asked me this in January 2018, I would be foaming at the mouth for an A.Marie album. But, like we were just saying, unfortunately, we've got so many artists who are stepping out of their comfort zone. And, I mean, to Dave's point, I am not one to stifle an artist's creativity. If they want to try something new, cool. Because I don't want you to sound like 2004 in 2019. But you can't just ride trends because everybody can't pull that off. My girl A.Marie could not pull it off. So I just want everybody to just kind of stick to their role. If you try something new, man, at least get a reasonable editor in there. Get away from the yes men. I feel like some of these artists just somebody needs an Ed on their payroll. They just be like, nah, player, that's trash. Just some creative, constructive criticism to be like, nah, chief, this ain't it. It ain't working. Well, I mean, as far as artists I'm looking for, I think somebody already mentioned H.E.R. already. And H.E.R's a actual full LP. Because what we've been getting is just kind of EPs and snippets and combos. But I would like to have a full LP from her. We've been waiting for that for a while. I'm always waiting for my girl Kelly Price. There were rumors of that album dropping last year, so it'd be cool to hear that. And I might be the only one, but I am very intrigued by this Dru Hill Playa thing. So I really would like to hear what they have cooking up.
Ooh,
that's a great one.
That's a good point.
That's a good one.
Kelly Price. She hasn't put out something since Soul of a Woman, right?
Oh, come on.
As We Lay, that's the jam.
Oh my God. Says the man who was just talking about cool relax. You need to cool relax. Wild out.
Oh, man.
I love Kelly Price, man, but you have an unhealthy favoritism towards her.
I mean, Kelly's no Keith Sweat now, but she's all right.
She's all right.
I prefer a Nicole Ray album.
I thought she's bomb.
She's
vocally.
bomb.
I feel like she can't be touched.
These trolls know mine.
I'm just messing with.
Untouchable.
I'm just messing with Ed. It's all fun.
So, Brandy, I'm looking forward to, and I gotta put it out there, Ashanti, 2019. You gotta come back out and save this genre. Thank you.
She can save Instagram. That's about it.
And I think the album we should all really be looking forward to in 2019, and Dave will agree with me on this one, I think. The King Jacquees is going to be putting out his sophomore album.
Listen, my God.
Oh, no.
If he claims that he's the king of R&B, he's going to back it up and provide us with some quality.
I'm just as excited about Elle Varner's album. Look, player, I know you have made excuses for your boy, saying that, well, he said he was the king of R&B for his generation. Well, a lie is a lie, and he's still lying there. And I understand that as Tom has said in the past, like, this is all hype, this is all publicity, and he's getting publicity. But I am still under the mindset that all publicity ain't good. So if he does not come with something beyond some Candy Rain covers in 2019, he will be a laughing stock. So show and prove, player.
Oh,
Listen, guys. Anyone under 25 who would put out an album featuring Darnell Jones, featuring Latasha Scott, sampling Avant, featuring Jagged Edge. I mean, you got to give that guy the benefit of the doubt. Am I wrong?
Well, I see where you're going with this, player, but you got to look at it like this. The wave now is 90s nostalgia. Just like in my generation, the wave was Puffy sampling all those 70s songs. And my parents like, oh, that's not I just want to hear the old song. So we're just, the music gets is cyclical. And we're at the cycle where now everybody's cribbing off of superior 90s songs. I ain't mad at it, and it does show that you're paying attention to the genre. Cool, but I'm going to need some vocals over these backing tracks. Because just slapping on a hot beat is going to make me turn on the old song.
Dude, when Escape released their debut platinum album, Jacquees wasn't even born. So the fact that he even knows who Latasha Scott is, give this guy the crown right now.
Give him the crown. I give you a head nod for knowing who Escape is. But that's about it. You probably didn't even know that till you watched Unsung.
Ed's tune is going to change when Keith Sweat writes for Jacquees on the album. Just watch.
Keith told y'all he got to get that bag, and he trying to get these taxes paid off. It would not shock me, dog.
Dave, question for you. Are you ready for this question? Which version of Trip is better, LMA's or Jacquees's?
Honestly, LMA. Because I can barely, even though we can understand what Jacquees is saying, he's not singing. That's not singing at all. That's bad. But the fact that we lyrically like this, some people like that, I'm not against it. I'm not against it at all. I think he's really good for his covers and remixes. But when are we going to hear something original? Just like Tory Lanez. Tory Lanez is good for the exact same thing. So it's like, what lane are they really trying to set for themselves to even consider themselves these quote-unquote kings of R&B? Because not being able to sing cannot qualify you for that title.
Ouch.
Like, that's just not going to cut it.
I don't think they believe it. Like, they don't believe that they're really a king. They're just saying it because, Jacquees admitted this thing on the little interview with Tigger. Like, it's all internet hype and it's all internet boasting. And it's what I'm going to say that's going to be wild, that's going to get people wilding out, that's going to get me trending, that's going to get my streaming numbers up. So they'll say anything. I might as well call myself the king of the bloggers and be like, all right, I'm the king of the bloggers. Y'all go read my blog. If it works, it works. But they don't believe that trash. There's no way that they believe it.
All right.
Listen.
Let's talk about
if you can't sing like Christopher Williams, you ain't no king. That's all I gotta say.
Oh boy.
Oh my gosh! Name 5 Christopher Williams songs. Get out of here.
I just said singing voice. All right,
Wow.
moving on.
Let's talk about this Millennium tour that's coming up. Tom, I gotta call you out again. Last time you said that the concert wouldn't sell. Well, in your hometown of New York City, the pre-sales have sold out in less than a day.
Hold on. Well, first of all, props to Omarion for buying out the pre-sale of 100 tickets. That's impressive. Secondly, David, will you be there in the front row at that show?
I don't know about the front row. Maybe like a few rows back. I don't want to get too close to these crazy women. You know, like that's too much.
Yeah. But are you interested in the show?
Player, I got better things to do, like mowing my lawn and picking ticks off of dogs than looking at this.
Oh, This guy's such a hater.
Oh, wow.
You think I'm going to sit through a Chingy performance in 2019? You have lost
What about
your
Mario?
mind, dog.
Let's forget about Chingy. What about Mario?
Mario's cool. Like, Mario's probably of all of them, that's probably the one I would listen to the most. But Chingy, Yin Yang Twins, I'm good, though.
Dave, don't mind Ed. He's a big Keith Sweat fan. And the last time we seen Keith Sweat, he was opening up for Jacquees somewhere. And next thing you know, Keith is in jail. So that's all we got to say about that.
Damn.
Are you talking about Keith or are you talking about Irv Gotti? Because Keith is a free man.
He didn't pay his taxes and he got locked up, allegedly.
He didn't get locked up, but he didn't pay his taxes. So he doesn't need to get on that.
R&B is
Tom,
good
you
for
were
not paying them taxes, too.
Mm-hmm. Tom, you were talking about B5 earlier. Do you have any B5 questions for Duane?
Oh, David, thank you. You're here to help me with this. I was reading B5's biography before this podcast was starting. Can you name 5 B5 songs?
Let's see. Sit in My Bedroom, Hydraulics. Listen to the song called You Got Me.
Can anyone confirm any of this is accurate or not?
Yeah, I'm looking. I'm on Wikipedia.
I know you got me. He's right so far.
Let me see. What's that other one called? It just came across in my room. It came across. What the fuck is that damn song called?
No Googling here.
Teacher's Pet. That's what it is. Nah, I was definitely a supporter of B5, and they're good. They're good guys too.
Okay, follow-up question. Can you name the members?
Dustin, Patrick, Brian, Cornell. There's only 4 of them, right? Right. I missed somebody?
5.
No,
Kelly.
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 It's 5.
You know, Kelly is crazy to say. I always forget his name, but he's one of those faces. It's just like, oh, right. But the name is just like, okay. Kelly's not the first name I'm thinking about.
We have a true R&B supporter in the house right here. He named 5 songs and all the members.
Yep.
It's crazy. Like, no one even named the big single, so that makes it more impressive. You did that without naming the number 1, so cool.
Good job, Dave. Good job. All right, 2 more questions for you. And then everyone can chime in on this, but Dave, do you believe because B5 was on social media going crazy over the fact that they were excluded from the Millennium Tour, should they have been on it?
No. And I'll say, reason for saying no is that lineup already has 2 of too many groups already. And too many, that's enough acts. We gonna be there for like 5 hours for a show like that. What are we getting? The Great Escape tour all over again? Because even that was a lot of artists. And that was a good tour. But I mean, there was Escape. There was Zanique, shout outs to her. There was Tamar. There was Monica. I'm missing somebody. It's like you don't want to overbook, and I think that's the problem with booking agents and promoters, especially with these R&B shows. Keep it under a good 4, unless you've got that time, or it's the summertime and it's a festival. During the wintertime and springtime, focus are not there for that. This is not California, it's not, an outside thing, but because a lot of these venues are inside. So for that, I think that's a lot going on with that tour.
Now, David, is there any truth to the fact that Jay Holiday was excluded because he couldn't get time off from his job of valet parking?
I can believe that.
Come on.
Yeah, I mean, listen, he's got to pay the rent. It's like, if he's managing the culture at the restaurant, how's he going to lead to make sure that he can do his taxes properly and his healthcare comes in right. You don't want to fuck that up.
Oh man,
God.
That is so bad. We love Jay Holiday. Let's leave
He's
him
gonna be
alone.
at the local getting welfare.
oh god.
Playa ain't trying to go for that. And shout outs to Jay Holiday. I think he's a great artist, and he made good light to the whole King of R&B thing too. And I think his video was just funny. valet.
Yeah.
He looked like he was doing valet.
That's what we're
Jay
saying.
Holiday is gonna come through and murder all of y'all. By the way,
He probably
Yeah.
never do an interview with me again, but that's okay.
No, he's cool, peoples. He might just slap you across the face once, but he'll be fine. All right, last question for you guys. When it comes to this Millennial tour, I want everyone to chime in on this. Since B2K has reunited, do we need a new B2K album in 2019? Ed?
do y'all really want to hear what Lil Fizz and them doing in 2019? Omarion, I mean, he's proven to have like the solo chops. If he wants to drop another album, I have no problem with that. A new B2K album does not move your boy at all, especially since I only really like their first album. Not in my demo, dog.
I feel like an EP is coming. I just have this feeling an EP is gonna be coming, but I never really got into the group, so is it really gonna sound that much different than an Omarion project plus some guy rapping on it? I don't know.
Dave?
I will pass on a new album from them. I think there's a lot of things that should be left in the past. Torn is a good moneymaker for groups that have great impact, but I don't think we need a new album. I mean, what are they going to break up again after the album? It's unfortunate to say, even like with 112, who we all support, they're now down to just Mike and Slim, and they're keeping it going, and Duran and H.E.R aren't a part of that, but we would literally see the same thing mirror, and it mirroring just one going solo and everybody else just doing whatever that they're doing. Because I'm still trying to figure out what is Raz B doing, that he has so many team members on his team. Like, I was on his Instagram and I was just like, that's a lot of different managers. It's like 2-3 managers. Like, ouch. No shade, but shade. Like, what are you doing? So I'm not here for an album. I'm here for the tour. But no album.
So, no love for B2K in 2019, I see. Let's get into the Playa Please Awards. Dave was really excited to join us on this one. So, Tom and Ed, are you ready?
Dave, you're so messy, man.
Hey, I got to know the tea in the messiness every single day. It's what I live for.
Jeez.
Are you guys ready?
I guess.
Now I'm saying, ready as we're going to be.
All right, I want Ed specifically to comment on this one first, on our first Playa Please Award. We're giving it to Usher's new hairdo.
Oh, man.
Oh my gosh. Please
What
proceed. Let our listeners know what this is before I go in.
You just have to go on his Instagram and look at it. It looks like, man, I can't. Ed, you describe it. I know your cipher had a bunch of comments about it.
Well, this is what I suggest people do. Go to Google right now and Google cockatoo. It's a bird. Put that in. And then look at that. And that's Usher. Playa. Now, I will say...
Oh, my God.
I will say
People in our
that
bird names now. It's getting serious.
I think that this has to be for like some film role or something, because I'm trying to give him more credit than I've given him since he dropped that garbage EP on us. But Playa, I know that you are older than me, so that means you in your 40s. Dial it back. Go and like get your Dave Hollister on or something, be a mature adult. But you don't have to look like a 22-year-old to keep your name in the streets. It's sad.
I feel like he looks just like a repeat of what Young Jock did, trying to bring back that classic era of hair. Like, leave the Rock and Robin look alone, please.
The classic hair. It looks like somebody's auntie from from one of those R. Kelly shows.
Dave, I gotta be honest with you. I wouldn't even recognize Young Jock if I walked by him in the streets. I have no idea what he even looks like.
Oh, you would now. Just look for the dude that has hair that's like 9 feet tall.
Oh, what the hell?
Oh man.
Yeah, now he's got a blue. You would recognize him, but Usher was just like, "What are you doing?"
It
But
has to be. I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. It has to be a reason.
Well, he also is rocking braids from time to time now, so dual haircut. That's pretty cool.
Functionality.
Oh yes, the braids that you christened the Omarion braids, because Omarion is the only person on earth who's had braids.
Yep.
Ugh. This is what I deal with.
All right. The second Playa Please Award. Why are we out here judging people's appearances? But we will anyway. Ginuwine, did you guys see his beard?
Oh.
You know,
Yeah.
I saw that, and I promise you, I thought that was Joe Butt. Like, I had no idea who that was.
I thought that was like a Snapchat filter or something.
Dwayne?
Dave, did you
It
see
looks
it?
like
Who we talking about again now?
Ginuwine.
Ginuwine has a Lee press-on beard. It looked like somebody got a whole bunch of hair out of the drain and just like glued
know
it together on my man's
it-
face.
It does
looks
not
crazy.
look that bad.
It can't be real. It can't be real. That is a
Dave,
weave beard.
That
Dave,
looks
are you looking
horrible.
that up?
This
Come
is. You should never do this again. Like, this is worse than men getting man weaves and stuff like that. But this is bad. Like, we can tell that that's not real. That's like a bearded. That's a weave beard, and then it's penciled. It's like too. It's too. Like, it's what's the character the word the cowboy had with the red mustache. Like the ginger's mustache, exactly what he looks like, just the black version.
Yosemite Sam.
Yup. That's who Ginuwine is going for this year when he drops his
Sam.
album.
Oh.
That's the whole
It
concept.
looks like a Lego. It looks like it just snaps on like a Lego.
You guys are so messed up, man.
Yeah, you got that's
You
bad.
brought it up. Well,
Listen,
I Kyle brought it
I
up.
mean, he's somebody's father trying right now with this look. He can't, like, oh man.
Well, to Ginuwine's credit, he is on Instagram defending that it's real, so we got to give him the benefit of the doubt. He made Pony.
Give him the benefit of the doubt because he made Pony.
It could be real. But
I
What about-
mean,
Ugh.
I would have to question that, but okay, player. If you bought it, it's yours. I'll just leave it at that. I'm not hating on the man. If he bought it, acquired it, grew it, I doubt it, it's yours. Don't stop it from looking ridiculous.
All right, I got two more Playa Please awards for you guys. One is semi-serious and one is kind of a joke. Well, actually, they're both semi-serious. We're gonna give a Playa Please to Ciroc.
Oh no.
Hmm?
So, Ed, let me give you the backstory. A couple of years ago, Dave and Tom and I were in New Orleans, and we were doing shots. And I think, like, after a shot or two of Ciroc, a couple of hours later, Duane was laying on the floor in a hotel room. Is this true, Duane? I'm
I
just
was
kidding.
knocked out. I was knocked out. And that whole entire week, I was hung over because at this point, I'm mixing drinks. It just went from Ciroc shots. It was like, oh, let's do Ciroc and Jack Daniels. It's the last day. Hey ho. Bad idea. Never.
Well, I don't know much about drinking because I don't really drink because it all tastes like garbage to me. But I know that mixing those two is a bad idea.
It tastes good, but it was not. It wasn't bad. It's bad for your health. It is a bad scene for your health.
No wonder Ed is cranky all the time, man. Have a couple shots before you do the podcast. You'll feel much better.
I feel like
Yeah,
I would
take
be
a
the
shot at
meanest
Jack.
drunk ever. I think that would be all bad. I think I'd be extra turned.
That would actually be pretty funny. I would love to see that for one podcast. I'll get Ed drunk in the beginning. Just see him going on an hour-long rant.
Wow.
That probably would happen.
And then the last Playa Please, we don't really have to talk about it too much, but it just came up yesterday. Dave, we do a annual countdown of our favorite songs of the year, and we posted our 2018 one, and we excluded Chuck Harmony and Claude Kelly's group or their stage name, Louise York, and they called us out on it and said, how come we're never included on these lists? So, Tom, I got to give us the Playa Please Award for not including them, because we love them.
Well, we respond. I applaud their passion. They're passionate about what they do. They don't follow trends. They make music that's pretty unique and dope. I told them, listen, guys, you're penalized, unfortunately, because you guys' music doesn't fit in the box. You can't call it R&B. You can't call it one genre. So while we always will support them, I feel like that hurts them in the long run, but I hope they don't get discouraged and give up because they're making quality music and they deserve to be supported.
Yeah, and I do want to say this, and props to them because they are great artists. I feel like a lot of times artists who have made R&B in the past, or honestly, just black artists in general, are just lumped into the R&B category, and whereas the music they're making might not essentially be R&B by practical standards. That doesn't mean it's bad, doesn't mean that it's not good or we're not showing it love, but it just doesn't fall in the qualifications. And again, even if you missed out on last year's list, maybe next year you get on it, but it's not a slight. It's not like these are the only songs worth listening to, and if you're not on this list, you're hot garbage. That's not at all what it means. So, like Tom said, we applaud the passion, but it was not an intentional slight, and there's no beef or nothing like that. But again, it didn't quite fall into the genre, and this is a list of R&B songs. You can be great, but doesn't necessarily mean you're R&B.
And let me even add to that, to what you said, Ed. Like, that doesn't mean that they're not great, because they are. Like, I think the biggest thing with them is we're still getting used to the fact of them being artists themselves and having Weirdo Workshop and the group, the what is it, Spindellas, right? We're getting used to this like evolving era with them, and them actually doing shows and having these different workshops with Weirdo Workshop. So they've got to give us, not give us because we support them. They got to give everybody else an opportunity to really dig more into their artistry. Of course, they're not a major artist. They're not in our face. It's not like Chris Brown or H.E.R. or SZA or The Weeknd or these artists that have a budget behind them that's in our face constantly. But they're great. Their songwriting is amazing. What they're doing is great. But they gotta wait a little bit to be included on these lists. They're gonna be on it. Y'all gonna be on it. Yeah. But y'all gotta give it a second, because it's not gonna come overnight. Not everybody appreciates the good work of artists that are actually putting in the quality mixing, the quality master, the quality lyrics. You can be a good R&B artist, but if your lyrics don't match everything, that mixing, that track is trash, and you can get a Playa Please for that. In my book.
Oh God!
Wow.
No, that's real talk. I'm not mad at all at that.
Wow. As Dave was explaining that, the first album that came to mind was Silk's last one, but we can talk about that another day.
Don't go there, Kyle. Don't even go there.
What saved them, though, what saved that album was the quality artwork they had on the CD, I believe.
Oh, my. No, I think that you were looking at the wrong album, because the one I got looked like a burned CD from 2004. But there were some awesome songs up there, including a song that wound up being the song of the year in 2016. So, can't hate on that.
Well, we're going to give the Playa I Love You award to Chuck Harmony and Claude Kelly. And we also got to give that award to Dave, who's been our guest on this podcast. Dave, we're about to get out of here ourselves, but is there anything that you would like to add? Plug us in on anything that you're working on.
Currently working on, what am I working on? I'm working on my debut project that should be coming out later this year. It's been a long awaited. It's called Unapologetic Blonde. It's more so a darker side, but a light side to life. It's more so informative. You know, everybody goes through a struggle, ups and down moment, but in music, R&B, it's not been touched on in a light where it's relatable. We've got these artists that are putting out crap, trash, as I would say, that no one's relating to. Everybody is turning up in a club, but allegedly. But don't nobody got money to be always turning up in a club. Some people are happy in love. Some people aren't. Some people are going through divorces and, you know, different things. And, you know, so for me with that project, I'm talking about it all. There's a lot of questions that people have wanted to know with me working in the business and different, you know, what was it really like working with this artist and stuff like that. So I'm kind of spilling tea too, but being truthful, you know. So it's not just my story, but it's everybody's story. And I'm just grabbing inspiration from what I see going on in life, you know, the world, you know, culture-wise, just everything. So that's my biggest thing that I'm working on, wrapping up. So we have a single. Hopefully you guys will like it, and I won't get a Playa Please on it. But that's honestly the biggest thing. And you know, just still working my publicity and marketing company, Urban Fierce, which honestly I was grateful to work with Mario, who put out his, you know, long-awaited album, Dancing Shadows. And even that project, to be a part of that team and just to see how dedicated everybody was to the project was like definitely a highlight of 2018. I know you guys probably talked about highlights of 2018, but I feel like his album was really good, and you know, he's got a bright future so I'm looking forward to seeing, you know, what else he has. And damn, I'm you know, my eyes is on R&B this year, like heavy. Like who's got next? Who's really on the scene? And there's this one person, I don't know if y'all know, but his name is Nobody. So trying to see what we can do with Nobody, because he's a great R&B artist. So yeah, keep my eyes on R&B is the main focus for me.
All right, David Duane, thank you so much for joining us on the SoulBack podcast, and you're always welcome back. We love having you around, and we're going to have to go back to New Orleans and get some shots in as well. But until then...
Essence this year, you guys going? Ed, you coming?
Man, if I'm coming, I got to be the designated driver. I can see that already.
Yeah, I might fall out in a bush somewhere.
All right, Dave. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, appreciate y'all.
All right, guys. Dave just left us. Man, shout outs to Dave Duane. Good guy.
Yeah, that's my first time meeting him. Good guy, knows his music. Impressed the heck out of me with the B5 question, because I didn't think that answer was possible. So good guy.
Tom, now that our guest is out of the way, can we get into the controversy?
No.
We're going to have to.
We got to.
Well, we got to get Ed
just
riled up.
briefly.
So first and foremost, I mean, we still have a little bit of time left, so you guys need to calm down. We got to talk about Chris Brown's new single, Undecided, produced by Scott Storch. And Ed, it samples one of your favorite songs of all time.
Well, first of all, calm down yourself, because I love Shanice. I think she's one of the, and I'm not saying this, I know a lot of people exaggerate when they throw these terms around, but I literally do believe she's one of the most underrated artists in R&B history. Her voice is immaculate. Her albums are great. And unfortunately, though, as much as I love her big single, I Love Your Smile, it was just one of those songs that has been played into the ground. Oh my gosh. Even now when I hear it, I'm kind of like, But I love her, and I did love that song 25 years ago. I would never want to hear it again. However, My cousin Chris decided to sample it for his new record, and I'm not really moved. I mean, it's one of those songs that immediately makes a connection with you, but it's only because of the sample. And I think maybe it's the hook that drives me crazy, that I'm undecided. It's too similar to the I Love Your Smile cadence. It just feels like a little bit too much of a bite instead of something fresh and new. I'm sure people who've never heard the song will love it because it is a classic track, classic production. If you haven't heard the original, you're like, oh, this is a jam. But as for me and my house, I'm good on this one, dog.
You know what, Ed? It kind of that song, I like it first and foremost, but the problem with that song is you could have just thrown that into his 45 song album a couple of years ago. Like, it fits right in, and not in a good way. It doesn't stand out from anything that he's done. And that's a problem.
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of that Trey Songz song that samples the SWV joint that was, again, thrown in on a gigantic album, where it's like, okay, I remember it because it sounds like a song I used to love, but on its own, it doesn't stand out. And for those who are going to say, oh, you just don't like samples, no, I like Mariah's A No No, and that sample Crush on You, because that was an innovative use of the sample, and it wasn't a straight copy and paste of the original concept. So samples can work, but I just was not feeling this one that much. It was okay, it might grow on me, but I only heard it like maybe twice. I was not moved.
Well, Tom, I've got some exciting news for you. Your boy Drake, he tweeted out that he tweeted a picture of him and Chris Brown on New Year's Eve partying together, and he said, "Watch out, all Breezy coming soon." Are you ready for a Drake and Chris Brown album?
Let's see. I don't listen to Drake or Chris Brown albums, so it would affect me either way, to be honest.
What about you, Ed? I know you're gonna be listening to like an 8-side album project.
It's like they're like the reverse Avengers. If you could put together two people that would drive me more crazy, it would be those two. Just throw the Dream on and make it 3 for 3.
Well, there you have it. Chris Brown is set to release his new album, Indigo, set to come out later this year. But Tom, some interesting news. He struck up a new deal with RCA.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to be able to own his masters going forward. Didn't give all the details. I'm sure he's given up some control of something. RCA's probably taking more of his tour money or something, so we'll have to wait for more details on that. But interesting, and good for him for stepping up and doing that.
And yeah, I think he's the youngest artist ever to do so. But it might also, and I'm just saying, I don't believe this, but if RCA is willing to give up Chris Brown's masters, maybe they don't value it as something that will make them a lot of money in the long run. Maybe the music is just for its time.
I don't agree with
assessment?
that.
No,
but it's unclear
if it's.
But to me, it's unclear if it's all the masters of his whole career or just going forward.
Yes, because that's a big difference.
Yeah.
And I don't think that, I certainly wouldn't say that they want to get rid of him because it's worthless, because trust me, even an artist who isn't to the level of Chris Brown, with the advent of streaming and just revisiting old music, it's basically found money. You're getting money just rolling in for just having something. So no way that they feel like that it's not something that's viable. There has to be more to the story. Maybe we'll find out.
Damn, can you imagine if RCA was just like, no one's going to be listening to these hoes ain't loyal in 2030. Let's just chuck it away. Will people still be listening to that song in 2030?
You will. Nobody's going to be listening to Graffiti, I'll tell you that.
Grammy-nominated album, Graffiti. That's more than what you can say about any Keith Sweat album.
Oh, man. Too bad Keith isn't here to defend himself from jail. Ed is speechless. You like that? Look at that.
Hold on right. No, I'm not speechless. What I am doing is I am throwing both of your addresses in Google right now, because it's time to sit in the hitters to take care of you two. I've had enough. Bring Dave back.
Bring Dave.
Oh, man.
You can have Dave and Barry.
Oh my gosh.
Zeppelin as your special guest as well.
2/3 will be passed out before the podcast gets halfway through.
Oh man. So and then lastly, we got to talk about R. Kelly really quickly. He dropped a new song, "Born to My Music."
Ooh, Lord.
Tom, were you born to R. Kelly's music?
Not really, to be honest.
Do you know, Playa, do you know how math works? No.
No, I didn't know. Okay, I get it now. I didn't know if that means like did I grow up on the music? I was trying to think about if like his music raised me or something. I was like, no. But yeah, I was not born to. My parents didn't listen to R. Kelly.
No.
So no, that's out.
Damn. Ed, what did you guys think of the song?
I actually thought the song was like for a song. Now, right now, we'll get to the stuff everyone wants to hear later. But as a song, as a reviewer listening to the song, I thought the song was actually one of the better songs he's put out in recent years. It's old hat Kelly is what you're used to hearing from him. I was a little annoyed by the premise because it's funny that the day before he gets destroyed basically in a 6 documentary series, he puts out a song basically saying, "I'm all your daddies." But it is what it is.
But yeah, Ed, the timing of everything is super interesting. It was like impeccable timing actually. But man, the amount of hate that we got on social media for posting his song, I've never seen anything like it. And we just posted a Chris Brown song like 2 days later.
Well, it's because Chris Brown isn't the cause for outrage du jour. Let your boy choose his words carefully here, because I'm going to speak first on behalf of my boys for I Got Soul, and then if you got beef, you know where to find me at E.T. Bowser on Twitter. Everybody's been yelling at me anyway, so come on through and add your yelling to the conversation. Tom's not here to kind of defend the decision, but allow me to kind of speak in his stead. When it comes to I Got Soul, we're talking about I Got Soul. We're not talking about Soul and Stereo. Soul and Stereo is more of an editorial site, as you can tell by my rants on this podcast. I Got Soul is a very unbiased source when it comes to music. So in their eyes, if an artist releases music, they're going to put the music out there. That doesn't have an opinion on basically their thoughts on the artist. So them posting that track doesn't mean that they're supporting R. Kelly or whatever. They're just doing what an unbiased source would do, saying, here's new music from an artist. That's it. So that's kind of where they are. For those who are wondering, who those are saying, oh, you shouldn't have posted, that's kind of a Tom decision. Kyle, you weigh in on that stuff too. That's not really my realm. But I do know from working with you guys that you don't weigh in on editorial things like whether or not Mr. Kelly has had indiscretions. If you follow me, you know my opinion on that. But that is why the song was posted, not in the support of him, not because y'all are in his pockets. If y'all getting that R. Kelly money, you need to hook me up because I ain't seen none of it. So that's why that song was posted there. As for me in Soul and Stereo, I'm going to just be very succinct about this whole situation. The debate has been raging. We have talked about it many times in the past. I've written about it many times in the past, whether his music should be banned, whether he did it, whether he not, blah, 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 this or that. As a fan, this is the only thing I ask people to say and to consider. If your only defense of an artist is that you love his music, you need to check yourself. If that's the only thing you have, is that I really like this song from 20 years ago, you need to be more open to the voices and the discussions that are being had. I'm not saying believe everything you hear, because your boy does not. But when we are having, well, not we, but when there are discussions from experts, family members, ex-wives, former girlfriends, former artists, victims, I think they have the right to tell their story. and you ain't met the man from nothing, and the only thing you know him from is you remind me of my Jeep and watching him on Video Soul, you don't really have an opinion on his personal character. So if you want to listen to his music, cool. If you think everybody is a lie, whatever. But do not defend a person because you like one song they dropped.
Great point, Ed. And I would just like to add on, because I've seen a lot of debates going on online, but I just gotta remind everyone, let's not make it personal. I've seen a lot of mean words being exchanged between people. I mean, it is personal, but man, some of the stuff I saw on that Soul in Stereo cipher, it got ugly.
It got rough, and the thing about the cipher is I have always, and I've talked to a few people offline, and it's funny, I was about to do a post about the situation right before we got on this call, but the Soul in Stereo cipher, of course, for those who don't know, check it out, go to Facebook, Soul in Stereo cipher, put it in your search bar, you'll find us. It's a great space where people just love to talk about music, and you can have differing opinions. But once you start attacking each other, nah, player, we don't play that. There's no attacking each other. So whether you think that R. Kelly is a hero or you think he is a heathen, you can say it. You can say it all day long. People can agree and like. But don't yell and holler and cuss out people that you don't know. We don't do that. And I know a lot of Facebook groups, and that's what Instagram, and well, not really Instagram, but Twitter and Facebook is for. Because we got to drag people, yes, honey. Not in my house. We don't do that. If you disagree, cool. If you disagree with me, you can call me any kind of word you want on Twitter. I'll give you the work back. But let's just be agreeable, y'all. Jeez.
Right. And then before we get out of here, I'm just looking at the Spotify stats right now. Strangely enough, after the airing of these documentaries, R. Kelly's streaming numbers have gone up. Wow.
And that's not at all a surprise. And for two reasons. Number one, I know people look at that and they'll say, oh, it's because all the supporters are running and trying to jack up his numbers. Not necessarily. Just the mention of R. Kelly, whether you like him or not, on social media might make you say, hey, I want to go revisit this song. You might not even be watching the documentary. Secondly, some people could just be revisiting the songs just to see if some of the discussions about certain songs in the documentary are true, and they're going back to do kind of some detective work on their own. So it's not really indicative of all this support for him, but it just shows really the human condition. Of course, Kelly's getting paid off of it, so he wins in the end.
And there you have it. So Ed, before we get out of here, just let us know what's going on with soulinstereo.com.
Yeah, so it's been, I sound like you guys. It's like, oh, it's been a slow week. But it has been a slow week because we're in the kind of early stages of the year. Not really a lot of new music dropping. I've got a couple new projects that are about to drop in the next couple of weeks that I'm excited about. So stay tuned for that. I think we got love letters coming up this coming week. But other than that, we keep an eye on new music. Right now, it's pretty slow. But everybody's still in their, I guess, Christmas comas. We'll get some new stuff soon.
Absolutely. And as far as you know, I got soul.com. Ed, I just realized we've gone international with the SoulBack podcast. Japan, they love us right now because we put the Homegrown Now tea on our yearly countdown. And Japan is going crazy on Twitter right now, so I just wanted to celebrate that for a moment.
Yeah, shout out to the homie. I love that song, and it ranked really high on our countdown, so love to see that international love.
And there you have it. So I think that's it for this week's podcast. Shout outs to David Duane for joining us. That was fun. Tom just randomly dropped out of the call earlier in the podcast, so that's why he just vanished. I think he had something to do, but we'll figure that out later. But Ed, pleasure as always, and man, I guess I'll see you guys next week. 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 I guess I'll see you guys next week.